Hey everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is Europa League group stage draw time. My name is Dan Clubb, and over at the board there, in his usual pride of place, ready to do all the good stuff, is of course Chris Pajak. Yeah, we will be getting to the action not as soon as it commences, don't you worry about that. Let me know in the comments, in the chat, what your dream draws are, what your dream aways are. We're going to have a good old chat about ours before the action commences. I think it's in Monaco, the Europa League draw. So yeah, Chris, how are we feeling, mate? Are we excited? Not where we wanted to be, I don't think, the Europa League, but at the same time, you know, final in Dublin, it's not all doom and gloom.
It's not, is it? I mean, listen, I think as a football fan, you'd always get excited for these types of draws because you never know where you're going to end up. I'm going to try and do a couple of the aways this season, so I think a lot of people that I've spoken to are looking forward to actually going to some random places. Of course, you'd rather it be in the Champions League, but we're not. I've kind of made peace with that. I've known for a long time, like you have, that the Europa League draw is where we were going to be, so let's make the most of it. I've got no idea who's doing it today. I've got no idea whether Fake Ranieri is going to get wheeled out for this one, but I'm excited for it regardless, because there's a few teams on there that I'd like to go and visit, to be honest with you, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, and like I say, do let us know where you would like to go. Ben Kinga has said he just wants the shortest distance travelled as possible. No teams in that draw scare him. Bottom G says he's like Ajax again in the group because he's a Liverpool fan from Amsterdam. So can we get them in? They're in our pot, aren't they?
Yeah,
so we can't do that, unfortunately, mate. If you're a Liverpool fan from Amsterdam, you can laugh at his dad when they get battered and get under his skin. Yeah, that's nice. Subway Sweden's also saying he wants the shortest possible travel time. Yeah, everyone's saying that, which is interesting. I thought some of us might fancy a bit of a mad journey somewhere. But Chris, I'll come to you on it, mate. Do you want to go through the pots first before we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it, mate. So pot 1, West Ham, Liverpool, AS Roma, Ajax, Villarreal, Bayer Leverkusen, Atalanta and Glasgow Rangers, who didn't make it into the Champions League this season. So that's an interesting pot 1. I think for me, all the best teams are in pot 1 this time around. Sometimes you can look at it and go, oh, that's a bit interesting. I mean, shout outs for maybe Sporting or something who have Champions League pedigree and stuff like that. So, yeah, but pot 2, Sporting, Slavia Prague or Red Star. Is that Red Star Belgrade? I think it is. Is it?
I don't think it is. I think
it's
called
Slavia Prague. Okay, sorry,
Prague.
apologies. Rennes, Olympiacos, Real Betis, Lask, Marseille, Karabag from Azerbaijan, avoid at all costs. Molde, Brighton, Sheriff, Union Saint-Gilloise. Now, Dan, you were telling me that Tony Bloom owns both Brighton and Union Saint-Gilloise, which is quite an interesting talking point. Freiburg, Sparta Prague, Maccabi Haifa, Sturm Graz, I think it is, Toulouse, Athens, TSC, Servette from Switzerland, Panathinaikos, Rachau, the Black Krakow team. It's probably not, it's just from Poland. Limassol from Cyprus, of course, and Haken from Sweden, and they probably don't pronounce it Haken like Scouse fella pronounces chicken, but there we go, Haken from Sweden, all day, every day, baby. So that's the pots. Dan, one for you, mate.
Go on.
What's your ideal draw from a fan I'm going away perspective?
From a going away perspective, I've noted it down just before we went live. So I'm going to go Sporting, because I'd love to go to Portugal. Freiburg, because as we know, I'm obsessed with Germany. So it'll probably be Sporting, Freiburg, and then Servette, I think, the Swiss in the pot 4. They would be my preference. I've had a couple more in actually here as well. Nessie Mon, by the way, says they're looking forward to Dublin. Not counting any chickens there, of course, Nessie. Ben Pryor says the Europa League looks relatively strong, to be honest. James Shine, I've seen your comment, mate. We're not talking Salah exit here. This is Europa League only zone, this, my mate. Unichronic, some interesting teams in the pots, and Ben comes back with at least compared to previous years. And Craig Tebbs with a super chat, 199 super chat, says he's just here to see Chris go bananas on the board. There's plenty of time for that. But F. Sharm, before I come to you, Chris, Ul Hassan says he would take Sporting as well, FC Sheriff, Toulouse for the puns. Yeah, okay. Chris, what's your ideal draw?
So I am with the majority of people earlier on in the chat who just want Liverpool to travel the shortest distance possible. One of the reasons for that, and I'm sure it's the same for everybody else, is Liverpool don't have a massive squad this season, and as such I think the shorter distances probably favour us. Obviously there's going to be a period of adaptation between the Thursday-Sunday games and all that type of stuff as well, so that's interesting for me. So for me, I've gone with a trip to Lask in Austria, a trip to Belgium for Union Saint-Gilloise, and a trip for Switzerland, to Switzerland for Servette. They're the sort of 3 ones. But if I wanted somewhere that's fairly close and a bit of a mad away, somewhere that I've never been as well, it would be Häcken in Sweden. I think would be an interesting little away day for us there. That's something a little bit different. I don't really want to be going to like your Greeces and your Cypruses and your Azerbaijans and your Czech Republics, and I certainly don't want to be travelling all the way over to Israel either, because I don't want to play Maccabi Haifa, because that's just a mentally long distance, isn't it? I mean, if I'm right in saying here, Israel's just by Egypt. I mean, we're basically North Africa at this point. So yeah, I don't really fancy a trip over there.
No, I agree with you, mate. Jamie and Jarowski's coming with a €2 super chat as well. Thank you very much, my friend. As a Polish LFC fan, he would love Rakow, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that second word. Cheskawa? Cheskofa? It's a difficult one. I apologise. My ignorance comes before me on that one, I'm afraid. You've mentioned a couple there, Chris. Matt Smith's doing the presenting, by the way, who is a Liverpool fan, which is nice. What's your most dreaded away, would you say? Well, you mentioned a few there. Which one would you least like?
I think Olympiacos have to be up there because of just how mental their fans are and stuff, the distance, and they're probably one of the better sides as well. So I think Olympiacos is there. Obviously, Spanish teams are always good footballing sides, aren't they? So maybe a Betis. But I think I'd probably stick with Olympiacos from there. Sparta Prague, I don't think they're the best side in here. But Sparta Prague or Maccabi Haifa were probably the 2 teams, just in terms of distance, that I'd maybe want to avoid in that one. And then again, I'm sticking with the Greeks theme. Obviously, I can't get both Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, but I don't think I'd fancy a trip over to Panathinaikos either. But what I will say, right, is this team stands on the shoulders of every other team in this draw. Liverpool Football Club fear no one in this draw. I actually fear no one in this draw. It's the distances and the away fans that I fear more than anything else. So I'm absolutely cool with Liverpool getting whatever the hell they get, because I think Liverpool are going to go through regardless. Yeah,
mate, absolutely. Yeah, I think we are going into this. I haven't actually seen the odds for the tournament outright, but I imagine if we're not favourites, we are certainly second favourites, you would have thought. We're right up there in the betting. Ashley Frith says, do you think he'll be able to get away tickets if they're wild locations? Yeah, quite possibly, mate. Although us Reds get all over the place, don't we? It doesn't really matter where we are. We're going to watch our team regardless. So might still be difficult as ever, potentially. Kostas Pangiokasis?
Yep.
Panag, yeah. I'm a Liverpool supporter, but I grew up supporting Panathinaikos. I would love to see the 2 meet in the group stage. And Uni Chronicles always respect the sheriff. Okay.
I will not respect this authority.
Legia Warsaw should be in the Champions League, not the Europa League. I seen a comment a minute ago saying we can still get a tougher group than Man City. I quite like that one. That is my kind of humour. And it's also very true. Who we couldn't get a tougher group than is Newcastle. That is group of death, extreme territory. In this one, Chris, what would be the group of death for Liverpool, would you say? You went through sort of the tougher ways and your ways that we'd like. But in terms of quality of football, what group would be the hardest for Liverpool to progress from?
I think Sporting are probably the best side, along with Olympiacos in this group in pot 2 here. Obviously, we can't get Brighton, but Brighton are the standout team in pot 3 for me. I don't think you can have a group of death with anyone from pot 3. Sorry. And the same kind of goes for pot 4. I don't think Liverpool can get into a group of death. I think Rangers, I think Atalanta and West Ham can get into a group of death, but I don't think Liverpool can be in a group of death.
Okay, sounds well. I'll take that all day long. Nigel says, final in Dublin, book your Ryanair flight now. Yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you get something sorted, because here we go. We're 7-1. KGB 8472 says we're 7-1, and Brighton is second favourite to 12. So quite a decent margin actually between us and them in terms of that, which is nice.
Any team getting Brighton, sorry to interrupt there, any team getting Brighton from pot 3 is in the group of death.
No, I agree with that, mate. Yeah, they are outstanding. Obviously, they've just signed Ansu Fati as well, just to add to their strength. So yeah, 100%. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Virgil there says, I'll be worried about Sevilla. They somehow always come back into the Europa. That's the other thing to consider in all this. I sort of joked about Newcastle flippantly there for a minute, but if they finish third, which is quite likely in that Champions League group that they've got. We'll be seeing them in the Europa League. And of course, Real Madrid will find their way into the Europa League just to knock us out later on in the competition.
We did our pre-season predictions, didn't we? And I had it was Liverpool-Arsenal in the final of the Europa League.
Do you stand by that now?
I stand by it. I still think Arsenal are going to mess it up.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Elvis Deli says, I hope we get Union SG, the team that are owned by the same people as Brighton, of course. Sporting, we seem to do well against them. Real Betis and Toulouse would be good, I think. Not far in the travel. That's from Stephen Cavaney. Josh, QP Josh, Ash, when does the draw actually start? I don't think it'll be too long. They're sort of in position. There's a big bucket on the floor.
No idea at the moment because John O'Shea's just been wheeled out looking like an Irish politician in his green tie there. Like he's the 2024 final ambassador, obviously, be the Irish connection, the Dublin thing for the Europa League final. So made 393 appearances for Manchester United. Manchester United fans can only remember about 5 of them. It's a bit mad that he's the ambassador, but we are where we are. John O'Shea might be the fit person who's doing it. It might be, is that Stephen Mbaye, something like that? There, I think it is. Obviously, Alex Scott, obviously for TNT Sports and stuff like that. So they've actually feel like they've got heavily involved in this final. It normally feels like it's a UEFA thing, but it actually feels like a TNT thing at this point, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, it does. I wonder whether that's to do, obviously we spoke earlier on about sort of TNT taking over from BT. Maybe it is a slight change of direction, the way they're going to go about these things, or maybe we just use the Champions League draws and not Europa League draws, and it is sort of the done thing in this. And McGreevy with a 199 super chat as well says, if Pot 1 was actually a group, he wouldn't be scared. Do you agree with that?
I agree. We're the best team in this competition by a mile. We are. Like, I suppose if you get Ajax and Roma and Villarreal, you're probably looking at it going, oh, it's a tough draw that, but you're also looking at it going, we've had tougher in the Champions League in recent years. Scotty, I can't find the comment, but someone's just said he's a wish Paddy McGuinness is John O'Shea, which made me chuckle off camera for a second. Definitely needed a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, another super chat from Patrick Banks this time. Says, don't sleep on Marseille. That said, I'm confident of another trophy. Yeah, nice one, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, Marseille, some of the French sides have been improving dramatically over recent years. We've seen, obviously, Lyon in the Champions League draw yesterday as well, and they're a force to be reckoned with in that competition, so I tend to agree with you, mate. I wanted to ask you, Chris, actually, before hopefully the draw commences in a moment.
It looks like it's starting, mate.
Yeah, just quickly then. Brighton second favourites. Should make that right. Us as favourites, fine, but you've got Bayer Leverkusen, you've got some other strong teams in there. Is Brighton second favourites, right?
I don't know, but like the draw. Yes, fake Ranieri's there.
He is. There
They've
he
split him. They've got young fake Ranieri on the other side of the table. So I don't know what's going on there. Giorgio Marchetti. I did not know that was his name, nor did I know that he actually has quite a high job. Deputy General of UEFA. Mental. I just thought he was a presenter for them, to be honest with you. He's got new glasses, I think. I think he has there. I don't remember his glasses being gloss last time out. He's gone for the small sort of circular, maybe the small Deirdre Barlow glasses. They're not obviously massive like Deirdre, of course, but we've gone short. I think he's trying to try and sort of highlight his cheekbones a little bit more and, you know, really draw attention to the beautiful white coming through in his hair and stuff now, and maybe just drag him away from Ranieri to be able to, everyone knows his actual name this time around. And you can see by the looks of the people in the room, they're riveted with what he's saying. I mean, there was at least 3 people there with their eyes open. The rest of the room obviously had their eyes closed and were falling asleep and stuff like that. But the other guy interests me on the other side. Looks a bit like a young demon headmaster, if you remember that show from the 90s, which probably none of you watching will do. But Fate Ranieri repping the little UEFA embroidery there as well. Quite interesting. He's gone for the same shirt and tie combination as he goes for every single day of his life, which is interesting as well. Looks like the draw will be starting. I've forgotten what your question was, to be honest with you, Dan.
It was, are Brighton rightful second favourites for the whole competition?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think so. No, look, Bayer Leverkusen, as you mentioned there, obviously, they came 6th in the German league last year.
But that was with a vast improvement under Xavi, wasn't it? Yeah.
But Brighton, I think, in a stronger league, finished around the same places, didn't they? So I think for me, I think Brighton do kind of edge it over Leverkusen, and it doesn't surprise me. Now, the big thing for them is, they're not used to European football. There's one side in that pot who stands out head and shoulders above everyone, and that's West Ham, because they're used to European football, and they won the Conference League last season. And Liverpool, of course. Roma have obviously gone deep in competition. Villarreal, the same over the last few years, gone deep. Ajax. These are all the sort of other teams that probably want to mention in there rather than Brighton, because they're used to it, and Brighton obviously aren't really. Now, it's the third season on the bounce for West Ham in European competition. It's the first time in their history that they've competed in Europe 3 times on the run, so they're obviously in a rich vein of form for them. But yeah, I think, for me, Brighton are probably the second best footballing side. Whether they're used to it or not is completely different. This isn't the draw, thankfully, on the screen in front of me. No. This is just showing you how it does everything.
The permutations, aren't they?
Yeah. This is the stuff that we need to listen to, because this is the stuff where, when I'm doing it, I can't understand it. Now, it's all well and good if you're listening to this, but right now it just looks like dots are getting moved on a board, which doesn't really explain the rules for me, but that might actually make this entire ordeal/draw much better for you, because I don't know the rules and regulations of what the hell's going on.
No, nor me, mate, to be honest. I'm trying to make as much sense out of them coloured dots as possible, but it's not that easy.
It looks like we've gone to the fucking opticians, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah, something I'm very well versed in, to be fair. We've got a new first team member as well, Gareth. I'll get the board when Chris is doing the draw, and I'll get you on our board, mate. Thank you very much. Henry Hale says Roma should be up there as one of the favourites. I was going to mention Roma because in terms of their side, obviously they're about to sign Romelu Lukaku as well, if that hasn't already happened. But good side, obviously very strong, but it's the Mourinho factor that worries me. Like, obviously we can't draw them in the group stage now, but further down the line, coming across them and Jose Mourinho is not something I would relish particularly, because we know what he's like. We know what he does in cup competitions in particular. So yeah, could be a tricky one further down the line. There's a comment people talk about Jurgen Klopp, and just going to completely ignore
Shout
that.
out to the people in the comments, though. Remember the Demon Headmaster?
Yeah, there's quite a few actually. I was going to mention that. Yeah, we've gone on from there, but quite a few. Yeah, another first team member, Patrick Banks. Thank you very much.
Get in, Banksy boy.
Yeah, I'll get you on the board as well. Just as soon as the draw commences, I will find. Yeah, Iggy LFC, one of our members already, says Roma in cup competitions are dangerous. Yeah, Craig Flynn, Roma are a decent side. Do you fear them necessarily in the competition? Not for today, obviously, but further down the line.
Yeah, I think that obviously any side with Mourinho in charge knows how to go deep in European competitions. They know how to play those two-legged ties. I think Mourinho and Klopp and nowadays even maybe Pep Guardiola, obviously Jurgen Klopp, they know how to navigate their way through a competition. Now, I think the difference with Liverpool as compared to maybe AS Roma, and obviously this is dependent on the draw, of course, is Liverpool will be rotating their squad heavily throughout the entirety of the group stage. I'd imagine Roma might have to do a little bit more with their first team players to be able to navigate it. But it is interesting, isn't it, that Mourinho's in there, and we've had stories with Mourinho over the last 20 plus years now, I think it is, since he took charge at Chelsea. So that Liverpool Mourinho thing will be the big narrative if anything happens later on in the competition, and it does look now like we are getting there. I'm just going to go with, I think, is his name Stephen? Anyone in the comments? Ranieri doesn't trust him. He's just gone in there straight with the ball. Stephen, he's gone for, look at the form. He's held it forwards. It's the top, the bottom. It's like he's cracking an egg of some description. He's got long fingers, but he doesn't look particularly dexterous at the moment, is our Stephen. He pulls it out with purpose. He drops the ball into his penis. Oh my God, the eyes, man, the eyes! He's pulled West Ham United out first and foremost. He's given it the fucking big eyes, lads. How do you even do that? No, can't do it. Stephen's drawn West Ham United. He looked like he could do the opening of the balls. He looks like he's got the fingers of a pianist, and yet when it came down to it, he shit the bed. He's like almost full stretch. Why are you full stretch, mate? Spin, 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 spin. Opens. Give us the eyes. We're here for the eyes, my friend. Come on, sunshine. Let's do it. Ajax. What does this mean? What are we doing here? Are we just filling up A?
Yeah, I think that's right. And
Ajax.
Then B.
And he's just throwing all the group A's.
No, that's part of the same pot. Group B, that's right.
That's what I mean.
And then they'll go to
and
C.
Pot ones.
Yeah, doing all the pot ones first.
Okay, right. So, this This is different, isn't it? This is not how you normally do a draw. Stephen's he's getting practice though on the balls, isn't he? I like he must be written on the back as well as the front. He's got Rangers out next. So are they just pot C? And then, we're going to just like delete things, and then we're going to be able to like just draw the next ones or something. He looks riveted, doesn't he? The man there, absolute fingers that could crush rocks. Did you see the size of them fat bastards? Hairy as a mother. Fuck her. Stephen's still going. He's spinning strong now. He's got into a bit of a stride. That watch, by the way, absolutely sensational. Liverpool Football Club drawn out. Brig Group D, and the big D is in Group D. Liverpool Football Club. That's us. That is the group of death right there. Liverpool Football Club in it. No messing around. Stephen's. Oh, we're in Group E. Fucking hell. The big D line didn't really work with the Group E. Have I missed the team or something here? What's going on, Stephen? Is his name even Stephen? Can someone confirm his name? It's Villarreal. So what group did they go in then? Is it because of the English thing that they've thrown us down? Are we going to be filling in Group D now? Because Villarreal, so Villarreal are in D. This is friggin' F. What about D? Have I missed the team? Oh my God. He's sweating more than me. Look at him there. I tell you what, give your head a wipe, pal. Bloody hell, mate. Atalanta, because... what group are these boys going in then? I've got no idea. Ajax is in D. Wait, what? D? Why? It's not alphabetical, is it? What's going on here? Why are we doing this? This is crazy. And where are the big eyes, lad?
This is why we needed the dots, yeah.
Yeah, Roma. Just fucking... G? Anyone? G! Get in. And just for completeness sake, we will have to make sure that he's drawn it. He's got this now, though, hasn't he? I mean, look at that. I tell you what, that is a nice, snug-fitting suit there. He has got it. He is sweating, though. He's going to start sweating into his eyes in a minute. It's a good job he's got nice lashes. Bayer Leverkusen go into Group H. They look particularly pleased with that. H is probably his favourite letter. He knows. You know, my friend. Right. Any idea how this is going to work from pot 2? Anybody? Because that was a bit mental. I just thought we were going A, B, C, and then they were like, A, B, C, E. Why not? Who cares? Does anyone have any idea why that happened? If you could let me know, then we will do this. I would kind of like them to do draws every day, you know, because I kind of like this sort of thing, where you get to just be a little bit wild. Look at the ball spin there from the young headmaster. He's got glasses, he knows it. You know he likes to wear them like that. And here we go. Wish McGuinness. Oh, look at that. Get the wedding ring in shot, lad. You know his wife's told him that. Absolutely whipped is John O'Shea. He has been his footballing career, and post-football, he draws Olympiacos, and he's got that thumbprint from his missus. Make sure you get that wedding ring in shot, lad. You know what I mean? Olympiacos are going into... Is there another section of balls now? Group A with West Ham. Okay. This is strange. Is this how it's going to go?
I think it is, yeah.
So it's just going to go in B unless they can't go in B? Okay. John O'Shea. He's got a little bit of a curtains thing going on at the front there, hasn't he? Marseille. I mean, are we just going to go that they're with Ajax? Yeah? This is a bit easier, to be honest. They might have found something here whereby we can follow. Maybe. For now. John O'Shea, I mean, he's left-handed. He reaches with the left. He puts it into the right, gets the wedding ring in shot. He's wearing his watch on the wrong hand as well because he's an idiot. He's still got his little curtains on show. I'm not sure he'll be particularly pleased with that one, to be honest with you. Betis are going to go in with Rangers then. Is this how it goes down? No? Yes? Yeah, the red C's flashing. You'd think it would be a bit better for everybody to be able to see that rather than the trophy at the front. Maybe we could see the, group stages. Who knows? That graphic flashed up for a second and went away. Well done, TNT Sports. New name, same shit. John O'Shea looking strong. He's got the green tie. He's got the wedding ring on the go. He's got the fanny head. Sporting Club de Portugal. Sporting is just going in with Atalanta then. But we did go to E last time out. But the D is flashing. And when the D is flashing, Sporting come a-calling. So there we go. Atlantic Sporting Club de Portugal, Group D. It is official. It looks like this could be the team that Liverpool get drawn. Is it Lask? Please be Lask. Do it, Johnny. Do it, Johnny. Do it, Johnny. Do it for the Reds. Get in!
There it is. There it is.
You've got to love that shit. You've got to love that shit. You've got to love that shit. I always get one of these right, you know, for us.
Boss that.
Always get one of these right. It's the group of Liverpool and Lask so far, which is nice, isn't it? It's a little short trip to Austria. Hop, skip and a jump over the English Channel, which probably isn't called the English Channel because the French might have something about that to say. But Stade Rennes from France will be going in with Villarreal if the Moldovan side Karabakh can go in with the team from Germany by Leverkusen. So it looks like that is the case. Villarreal, Stade Rennes should be Karabakh, but we've been here before. We know that they've messed these things up before and we've had to do redraws and stuff. But that is why they've got fake Ranieri. It's why they've brought in the big man from Ireland, the ambassador for the Europa League final, John O'Shea. John O'Shea doesn't let this slip. Slavia Prague. Oh no, I forgot about them. What happened with them? Whoops, got ahead of myself there. I've still got Karabakh in the right group, I think. He's got nice glasses here, Manny. Tell you a strong beard there as well.
Yugoslavia, Roma, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It looks like it will be the Moldovans joining the Germans in Group H of the Europa League. John O'Shea knows, and there it is. Karabakh FK. This is exactly how the Europa League draw is going so far. I've got no idea if hopefully they'll just keep it in the same sort of way. So we know that, let's see this, Greece and West Ham. So Greece, there's no other Greek teams there. There's an English side, so Brighton can't go into Group A. If it's just you can't go in them, you go into the next one that you can if Brighton is drawn. Maybe that's the rules. They seem to have had a little stop and a pause. Alex Scott's sharing something lovely from Instagram with the other presenter there. They look like they're really enjoying themselves. He's got what can only be described as a crisp packet in his top pocket. Maybe Salt and Shake. I saw blue and white. Formerly Smiths, of course, but now Walkers. It looks like pot three teams to be drawn are Mold, Brighton, Sheriff, Union Saint-Gilloise, Freiburg, Sparta Prague, Maccabi Haifa and Sturm. And for some reason, I really struggle with Maccabi Haifa. Stephen's got it. He's got the watching show, no wedding ring on show for this man. He's a player. He knows exactly what he's doing. Look at this. Give us the eyes, give us the eyes, give us the eyes, give us the eyes. He's give us Freiburg instead. So Freiburg, they're German. They can probably go in Group A if that's allowed. We shall find out now. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, I feel like the dots might have overcomplicated this thing. They probably just said, we're going to go A to H, is it? God, Stephen's going fast now. There was a nice shiny button there, I saw that. The Magpies are like that. Brighton Hove Albion can go in with Ajax and Marseille. If that is allowed, that is the group of death straight out the bag. And I told you, didn't I, that the group of death is going to have Brighton in. And that is two good sides in Ajax and Marseille. And now joined by Brighton and Hove Albion from the south coast of England. Group B, group of death. Told you, Stephen's on a roll. He has wiped his head in the break while John O'Shea's been there. I can see that there are about 4 millimetres less sweat on his head. Sparta Prague, here we go. You can go in there because you're from Spain, you're from Scotland, and you are from Serbia, is it? Is that right? No, you're not from Serbia. You're not from Serbia, you're from the Czech Republic, I think. Yes, they're from the Czech Republic. Stephen's going. Those balls are white, aren't they? Like a fucking duck's egg. Not quite as shapely, I must admit, more circular, spherical is probably the right word. Union Saint-Gilloise are going straight in with Atalanta and Sporting because they're from Italy, they're from Portugal, they are my team that I wanted from Belgium, which is a little bit disappointing, so they go straight into, wait, they've gone into our group. How the fuck did that happen? Liverpool, Lask, Union Saint-Gilloise, we've got two of the three teams that I wanted so far. I wanted Lask, I wanted Union Saint-Gilloise, and what was the other team that I wanted? Servette from Switzerland. Maccabi Haifa, they must be going into Group D. Does anyone know why they went into Group E? So Union Saint-Gilloise with Liverpool on last because I've got no fucking idea, and the dots don't explain it to me. Red, blue, green, yellow, any type of circular dot, I've got no fucking idea, my friends. So this has gone into Group F. We look like we've just ignored Group D, or either that or I've missed it completely. We've got no idea why. There's 3 balls left. What are we doing next? Stephen, get him hanky. Use that fucking crisp packet from the presenter's pocket. Wipe that brow, my friend. Sturmgratz, next out. They can't go in last. Maybe that's got something to do with why that was happening. They might be able to go into Group D, then with Atalanta and Sporting CP. Will we see? Is there a graphic? Is there anything? Yes, there is. There is. There's Sturmgratz going in with Atalanta and Sporting CP. We are loving life at the moment here at the Redmen TV, but not loving life as much as the sweat on top of Stephen's head. They are falling together into his brows. It might even go into his ears. The sheriff, the big man on campus, has been drawn. He is either going into Group G or Group H. We've no idea because they're not explaining it. Although it would be nice actually if they could tell us. And it's Group G. And I tell you what, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. No stars for AS Roma there. Stephen's got it. He's done the spin. He's got the piece of paper. He's holding it with purpose and prediction. And this prediction is Mold from Norway. They're going in with Bayer Leverkusen and Karabag free kicks. Mold, Leverkusen, Karabag. Pot 4 up next. John O'Shea in the limelight. Chris Packett getting handed to Stephen to wipe his brow. Alex Scott looks happy. Presenter with a Chris Packett in his top pocket looks at Instagram.
Wow.
Wondering what's happened. This is a big draw. Ajax, Marseille, Brighton. Liverpool, Lask, Union Saint-Gilloise. If we were able to get Servette from Switzerland, that is my ideal draw. I've got no idea if that's going to be the case or not. Is there a team in that pot 4 that I fear? No. Is there a team that I would like to, having now got these 2 teams, go on the away? It is Haken from Switzerland, from Sweden even. Teams to be drawn, pot 4, Toulouse, Athens, TSC, Servette, Panathinaikos, Rachau, Aris Limassol and Haken from Sweden. I've got no idea whether these teams can be drawn or can't be drawn. We're just going to go for it. Alex Scott hands the reins over to the big man with the Irish tie, John O'Shea, Demon Headmaster. Got the feeling he's not really needed in this. Get the feeling that Fake Ranieri's not really in for this, needed for it. John O'Shea, little look up as he takes the ball. Johnny, TSC. TSC. That is them from Serbia. Can they go in that group? I'd like to think so, but I've got no idea. This seems like a good way of doing it, to be honest. Yeah, Group A. I've got no idea why Union Saint-Gilloise went in with us, to be honest, but might have been the fact that Sturm couldn't go in with us and all the permutations of balls. John O'Shea, fanny head and all, wedding ring, silver watch, green tie, blue suit, wish, Athens with Brighton? That's a tough little away going over to Greece, I'm sure of it. Is that allowed? Are we in Group B? Does anybody know? She knows, he knows. He doesn't like it. I think he's got Brighton. I think he's got Marseille. I think he's got Ajax. And he has. His face gave it away. Absolutely superb. So this time, this is the stage of the draw where they just skip a couple of groups for no reason. So John O'Shea's got it this time, and he's gone for Limassol. I mean, Cyprus, I'd take that if they can go into our group, to be honest with you. But I've got no idea whether they can. They're going into Group C, I think, with Rangers, Betis, Limassol of Cyprus, and Sparta Prague rounding out Group C. Now, okay, if we could get Servette, that would be incredible. I'm not sure whether it's going to happen. Let's find out. Let's find out, Johnny boy. Who are you? Rachau. I'll take a little trip to Poland. That looks like it should be able to happen. Group D, yeah? Atalanta, Sporting, Sturm, and Rachau. Okay, looks like a group that's totally okay. This is Group E. Is there any teams there that we can't get? I don't think so. Johnny boy, give us Servette, mate. And if not, give us Haken. Come on, Johnny boy. Hurry up, mate. Not got all day. Got an advert break. Oh, it's Toulouse. There's no French side in our group, is there? So I think Toulouse are going in with us.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it looks like that's fine for Group E. Yeah, Liverpool, Lask, Union Saint-Gilloise and Toulouse. That is easy pickings for Liverpool Football Club. I think you'll agree. That group, Dan, I mean, Liverpool, Lask, Union Saint-Gilloise, Toulouse, good draw for the Reds. Panathinaikos have been drawn next. Panathinaikos look like you can go in there to me. There doesn't look like there's any country protection at this point, to be honest, because I don't think any of that goes anywhere. So Group F, so we've got Servette and Häcken, the two teams that I kind of wanted, going into Group G and Group H. Well, they're from Sweden, they're from Switzerland. There's no other teams from Sweden or Switzerland in this draw. So John, big time. That one must be hard to open. He's had to use all of his manpowers for opening a jar to get that one open. Come on, my friend. Who have we got? Servette. That's the one that I picked up. Servette are going in, I think, with Sheriff, Slavia Prague, and AS Roma. And then John O'Shea has one more to draw. It's Häcken from Sweden. Please, Häcken from Sweden, be in this circle, in this sphere, because we don't want to have to do this entire draw again. So please, let's just pray that this is the actual official draw for the Europa League for 23-24 season. John O'Shea gets the wedding ring. There's a little glint from the light off the wedding ring. Häcken is drawn. Group H is the final destination. And we do now have officially all 8 groups in the Champions League draw done and dusted. Ranieri, Demon Headmaster, fake Ranieri, Demon Headmaster, completely fucking useless. Dan, let's talk about it, mate.
Yes, let's talk about it, mate. I mean, I'll be honest with you, while you were going there, there's been some rather massive breaking news, but I'll touch on that in just a second. Just give me 1 second.
No. What?
Before I do, Deb's Disney Desk has given us a £10 super chat. Thank you very much. Great job, Dan and Chris, over the transfer window. Thank you for keeping us all updated. Grab a coffee from me for deadline night. Thank you so much. Liverpool have rejected a £100 million offer for Mohamed Salah from Al Ittihad, an offer that was rising to £150 million. That has been rejected. Paul Joyce, David Ornstein have reported that whilst the group stage draw was going on. Rejected, nothing to see here for now. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
I'll be back at 2 o'clock with a news show.
Yeah, absolutely. We are doing Redmen Reacts to the draw after this as well over on Redmen Plus, so make sure you get involved there. Use code Ryan if you sign up as a captain yearly. You get 12 months for half price. What a deal that is. But yeah, Chris, let's talk about it, mate. The draw, I think I actually really liked the new way he did it, by the way. I think that worked really, really well, to be honest with you. That felt a lot easier. It kind of caught us off guard because we couldn't hear them explaining it early, but had we have done, that felt a lot more streamlined and straightforward to me. But yeah, I think you kind of alluded to it earlier, mate. You said that Liverpool had no one to fear. Whatever group we got drawn in, we should be very much the favourites for. But even though you've said all that, and I agree, there could have been more unkind draws. I actually think that's a relatively straightforward one. I don't want to speak too soon, but it does feel like one we should be looking at and feel quite relaxed about.
Absolutely. I mean, when it comes down to it, at the start of the show, we said, didn't we, that a lot of the majority of Liverpool fans, myself included in this one, were interested in the team not having to travel very far. Well, we got our wish there. We got a team from Austria, a team from Belgium, and a team from France. I mean, you couldn't have scripted it much better, to be honest with you. And 3 teams that have got nothing on us as a team. Even if, we played as well as we did last season, which was shite, by the way, I'd still fancy this Liverpool side to get through this group. But this Liverpool side this season are going to be a different proposition. Hopefully Mohamed Salah is here for these games, but he should put them to the sword if he is risked at all in any of these. But you could see Ben Doak now appearing in all 3 of these games. And that is good for us because I believe that Liverpool's reserve should be able to beat these teams. You don't want to take it for granted, of course, Dan, but Lask, Saint-Gilloise, Toulouse, mate. I mean, it literally could have just been done by me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. Like I say, I think it is very favourable. It was almost perfect for you for what you predicted earlier on in terms of where you wanted to go and stuff. So it has come out very much on our side, I think it's fair to say. And there weren't loads of sort of situations whereby it wouldn't suit us. I think that's also fair. But in terms of travel distances, in terms of destinations and stuff, it has come out on a very, like I say, pleasant side for the Reds, I would say. Ben Pryor agrees, one of our members, said he's very pleased with that draw. I assume we talk about the draw, not the fact that Liverpool have rejected that massive offer for Mohamed Salah. Gossier HD says 2 o'clock. What's the time for you now? The time now is just about 20 to 1, so like an hour and 20 minutes. Chris will be back here live talking news. Make sure you tune in for that. We've got 3 more live streams to go today, right up until deadline, and indeed deadline passes. So stay tuned. We'll have all the news for you, incomings and outgoings wise. A lot of people talk about the Salah stuff, as you can imagine. But Chris, you mentioned Ben Doak there. And I think that's a really interesting point because I'd like to see more of Ben Doak. And I think that group does allow us to see more of him. And the likes of Joel Quansah, possibly a little bit of Bobby Clark if he doesn't go out on loan today. Harvey Elliott too. I think those kind of lads have got a huge role to play this season, particularly in the Europa League. And what the Europa League allows you to do, it allows you those opportunities because let's just say, for argument's sake, we'd got Newcastle's draw. They got in the Champions League yesterday. All of a sudden, you've got to be full strength up until the moment you qualified. But that group and this competition actually allows you a little bit more leeway, is it fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just sort of thinking, as you were talking then, to be honest with you, Dan, see the realisation when I realised I've got to talk to the camera and not you.
I've been doing that a lot.
I was like, no, I can't be looking at Dan, I need to look at the camera because I'm talking to you guys just as much as I'm talking to Dan. I was looking at it there going, Queven Kelleher. I was looking at it going, Joe Gomez, potentially. You know, if injuries suit us, then we might have a different right back or something, but doesn't look likely at the moment. Your centre-backs could be Quansah and Joel Matip. Let's say if Joe Gomez is used at right back, you've probably got the Greek Scouser, Kostas Tsimikas at left back. You might have Thiago playing in the 6. You might have Harvey Elliott. You might have Kurt Jones. You might even have someone called Ryan Gravenberch at this point playing in your Europa League side for 6 games. You could have Ben Doak. You could have whoever's in or out of favour between Darwin Núñez, Diogo Jota and Cody Gakpo to fill the other 2 spots there. This is a side that if you played that 11 or from those players that I've just given you, should be able to walk that group. Mm-hmm. And you get the added advantage of getting 6 games potentially under your belt in competitive football for all of those young players. And then I've not even mentioned Stefan Bajcetic there, who could take maybe Thiago's place in that side or something like that if he's fit and available. So this is it feels like, and I know this is, looking, for a silver lining and everything. But when a side is going through transitions, you've got to try and draw positives. And the positives for me for this season of being in the Europa League are, it might not be the squad to attack the Champions League, but it might be a squad to go and win the Europa League instead.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, I'll go through a few more of the comments now before we start to wrap up. Daniel Buttery, great draw, lads. Glad I watched your draw. Enjoyed Chris's and Dan's commentary. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for getting involved as ever. Nigel, Holyhead to Dublin, book your ferry tickets and for the final, do the Guinness Tour. Also, yeah, was lost, but now I'm found. Liverpool are going to destroy the group stage. I hope you're right. Henry Hale, question for us. Which away days are Redmen most looking forward to? I added the word most in there because I think they're all okay, but which one would you most look forward to out of them, Chris?
I really like Belgium as a country, so I think I'd probably like to go back there and go to Union Saint-Gilloise. My guess would be as well, and this is just a guess, that it would be the smaller stadium, potentially, which is always good for an away day and stuff like that, going and seeing like small stadiums and stuff. So yeah, I think I'd probably go somewhere like Union Saint-Gilloise. Although, to be honest with you, it's splitting hairs. They're all in the same area of the bloody world, and they're all shy teams. So the one we win 5-0.
Yeah, that's the best one, absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right. In terms of travelling distance, they're all pretty similar. Cuban Scouser says it will take that draw. Yeah, so will we, my mate, so will we. We will start to wrap up. I've seen a lot of people asking about Conor Bradley when we were discussing sort of who could and couldn't be partaking in these games. He is currently injured. It's worse than first feed as well. Stress fracture of the back. So I'm not entirely sure we'll be seeing him in the group stage anyway. We might see him thereafter. Yeah, so let's start to wrap up then, mate. I will keep an eye on the comments and stuff. Sam Mahoney, I want to see more Pajak madness. He needs to do watch-alongs stood up as well. I mean, he spends a decent amount of time stood up in the watch-along, especially when we score 90-odd minute winners. So yeah, I'm sure you'll see more of Pajak stood up in the near future. Yeah, let's wrap up. Well, more or less. On the overall draws, Chris, you mentioned sort of the group of death earlier. You predicted it would be Brighton's. Is that the case? And out of those sides, who's got the easiest group, and why is it Liverpool, I guess?
I think I was right about the Brighton stuff, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, Ajax and Marseille say that that's the group of death along with Brighton. I think if you'd have put Brighton into any of the other groups in that sort of pot 3, it makes their group harder because they're the best side maybe after Liverpool in the entire competition. Mm-hmm. So even just looking at that there, your Rangers and Betis, 2 sides with relatively decent experience in Europe over the last couple of years. Brighton still probably would be the best side in that group. I think Brighton would be questionably the best side in that group. Yeah. Roma maybe slightly better, but it's up there. They'd be the best side in that group, and they'd be the questionable with Leverkusen whether the best side in that group. But Ajax, Marseille, Brighton, I do feel for Athens, they're absolutely getting bent over, left, right and centre. 0 points and fight it out between the other 3 teams.
Yeah, I think you might be right, mate. Interesting point actually here from Martin Torpy. McAllister's brother plays for Union. Is that Kevin McAllister? Not the Home Alone one. I think Kevin McAllister. Yeah, nice. Go to Chris. I think he plays for you, so he'll be coming up against his brother Alexis, which is
nice.
interesting little
He won't
note.
be sad, mate.
Which Alexis, that's true. I was going to say he might be, yeah. No, absolutely, I agree with you. Any final thoughts now? Liverpool the favourites for Europa League before
I'm
I
looking
say
forward
goodbye?
to doing about 10 minutes research, proper deep dive into those teams and getting over onto Red Men Plus. We're doing a reaction to 3-man show. If you want to get over there, then support us for an entire year, then we'll give you 50% off as a yearly captain subscriber. So it's just $34.99 for probably, and you can't quote me on this, around about 2,000 or 3,000 hours worth of content over the next year. So you want to do that for $34.99 and support us, then that would be much appreciated. But if you're just there to consume the free stuff, times are hard, we understand that. Any likes, any comments, anything, just you watching us is support enough, of course. And then obviously we'll be back with a new show at 2 o'clock where I will be talking about the Salah stuff, and then we've got later 5 o'clock and a 7:30 stream maybe. There's an 11 o'clock stream. There's going to be podcasts throughout the day. Dan's got an incredible one lined up. Can we say who it is yet, Dan?
I don't want to say who it is yet. I don't want to jinx it. You know what I'm like? It is Boss. It will be Boss, but I'm not jinxing it yet. I can't do it, unfortunately. Once it's in the bag, then I'll talk about him comfortably, but I'm not doing it yet. Yeah, I said yes.
And it's going on Plus.
Yeah, it will be on Plus, yeah. And like Chris said, make sure you head over there and take advantage of that brilliant offer. Before I say goodbye, I did put Gareth and Patrick Banks on the board as our new members. Thank you so much. And I just want to tell you as well, if you head to redmenmerch.com, you can get stuff like this. And you can get it for 20% off as well if you use code Deadline over there. That's 20% off all clothing on Red Men merch. Get over there, get that done, then get to Red Men Plus and get that done. What a weekend this has been. Hopefully Liverpool get a couple more signings done between now and the deadline passing. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for getting involved.
Can I just one thing right before the end? I just want to say, obviously, every single time we do a show, obviously the backroom team, like Tom's been absolutely unbelievable this week, of course, and Aaron and everyone else. But Frank has absolutely stepped up and got us all the information, got us all the stuff here, so he deserves a massive shout out for everything that he's done over the last few weeks for us, getting us set up here, because we wouldn't have been able to put this show together without Frank. I just wanted to make sure he gets a shout out.
No, absolutely, mate. Here to that. Top man, top glad he really has helped us out massively, as do all you guys by watching and participating. Thanks again so much for your time. Like I say, loads more to come between now and the deadline. Stay tuned. I look forward to speaking to you all again very soon. Take it easy.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the show. You're amazing. And if you want to signify your legendary status, then head over to redmenplus.com. Join as a legend tier subscriber. Not only you get all of the great video and podcast content, you'll also be entered into our monthly prize draw for great signed Liverpool gear. And you'll get access to our Discord as well, full of amazing Liverpool supporting human beings. Head to redmenplus.com and join as a legend tier today.